Hey, welcome to another Fetta Facts. I want to share with you today the reason why I do Fetta Facts. It's not what you think. Stay tuned to find out. Hey, what's going on? This is Jerry Fetta, founder and CEO of Wealth Dynamics. I want to welcome you back to another Fetta Facts. So I've been doing Fetta Facts for quite some time, and I realized, recently I was like, okay, good. I want to make sure that my viewers understand why I do these Fetta Facts videos. So the purpose of Fetta Facts is to give you all facts, no opinions from me, right? Real facts about finances. Now, the reason this is so important is one of my goals when I'm working with clientele, when I'm working with members of mine, or just followers and viewers like you maybe are, right? Is to help you think for yourself when it comes to finances. Right? I think that's so important, the ability to think for yourself, right? And so what does that mean? To think, it means that you can take existing data that you're aware of, that's known, and use that to compute and calculate and come up with correct conclusions. And those correct conclusions with your finances improve your financial condition. They help you build a wealthier life, right? And not just for you, but also for your loved ones in the world around you as well, right? So I want to give you an example of what happens when you can't think for yourself. And I started in the financial world as a traditional financial advisor. And sad to say, most of the financial industry is more geared around helping people not think for themselves. Right? Those that are, they're too busy, or they don't get this, or finances are too hard. So the whole idea is that you work with a financial advisor, you give them your finances so that you don't have to think for yourself. You can just let someone else do it. Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Get a copy of my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. I know it's in front of my chest and my face because I want you focusing on the book and not me for a moment before you go back to focusing on me and the content. And show me a like if you've been there, seen that, experienced that. Right? But that's what's happening with most people, is they can't think for themselves and they don't actually want to. Because they've been talked into the idea that finances are this very hard, complex, complicated subject that they can't learn, and it's up to Wall Street and it's up to the financial institutions and the banks. And those are the guys we should trust because they have a bunch of long letters and acronyms behind the end of their names and some certificates on their walls. Therefore, they know more than we do and we'll never know as much as they can. Now, here's the importance of this. Most of the financial education that's out there, right, that's being sponsored by banks, that's being sponsored by Wall Street firms, is not financial education. It's marketing for their financial products. Marketing and education are not the same thing. That's the equivalent of seeing a McDonald's commercial and thinking you've been educated on the importance of quality nutrition, right? Just because you know what's in a McDonald's burger and how the drive-thru works does not mean you're financially educated. Doesn't mean you're nutritionally educated. Just because you know what a 401k is and that there's a stock market and that you're supposed to buy low and hang on and don't sell when the market's down does not mean you're financially educated. It's the financial equivalent of knowing what's in a Big Mac. Oh, they put a burger and they put some cheese and they put some pickles and they're on the Olympics. I've seen their commercials on the Olympics. And LeBron James says to eat there, and this person says to eat there. I know a lot about McDonald's. Okay, it doesn't mean I know about taking care of my body with nutrition, just like knowing a lot about retail financial products doesn't mean I'm financially educated. So when I can't think for myself when it comes to finances because I don't know, I lack knowledge, right? I lack certainty on what is true and what's not true, because that's what knowledge comes down to, is knowing what's true and what's not true and being aware of that and then being able to think and compute with it like I mentioned already. If I don't know that, then I'm more likely to do what? Give up responsibility for my finances. I don't want to be in control. I want someone else to manage this. I want someone else to handle it. Right? And then I lose control. And guess what? When I lose control of my finances, just like if I lose control of a car, I'm no longer in charge. I'm no longer the one that's going to be in charge of the outcome and control the result and achieve the goal. Someone else is. It's going to be their goals. Do you think that Wall Street and banks have the same goals as you? Like, honestly, do you really think Wall Street and banks are like, my goal is so that this person, you as the viewer, has a good retirement and they achieve all their life goals. No. Their goal is to make a buck. They've shown us time and time again, their goal is to make a buck even if it's at your expense. And guess what? When they mess up, they don't make it right. They don't try to help. They don't try and recoup your losses. They don't try and do anything. They actually usually get bailed out by the government and then take the money they got from the government and use it to pay themselves even more. Okay, so that's an example, a real life example of what happens when you don't know, when you lack the ability to think for yourself financially. Okay, now let's take another example, someone that can think for themselves financially. Yeah, let's use me as an example. Okay, I was a financial advisor, so I took all the tests. I sold the retirement accounts, I could do the mutual funds and the annuities and all of the things that you're supposed to do, right? Supposed to do based on what the institutions say to do. I knew all of that. I was very trained, very educated. I work with Dave Ramsey on this stuff in like 8 states, right? So this was something where I wasn't thinking for myself. I was taking someone else's word for it. I was like, what these guys think, obviously they're the established ones in the field. I should really listen to them, right? Now, I started to see some things that didn't add up. This was the first thing, and I'm going to put this on the whiteboard here. This is the first thing that causes someone to begin to think for themselves. Right? I started to see some things that didn't add up. Right? We're going to call these inconsistencies. Like this one thing is what they said, but something different happened. Right? Or it's supposed to be this and it doesn't add up. It wasn't that, right? So I started to see or observe inconsistencies, right? Things that just didn't make sense. They didn't add up to me. Now, because of that, I was like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 types of people. There's the type of person who is going to observe these and they're going to say, I want to understand that. I want to know more. I want to know why that's happening. I want to know how that's happening. I would like to have a true answer. Right? Call yourself a truth seeker, whatever that might be. That's what I am. Right? There's another group of people that they really don't want to know the truth. They want to be told, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We've got it taken care of. I'm not that person. Right? So I see the inconsistency and I decide to do what? I decide to investigate further. I start investigating, I start researching, I start looking, I start asking. Right? These are all the initial steps on the route to becoming able to think for yourself financially. Right? I started to investigate further and I started to, next one here,
truth.
Learn
right now.
Truth. Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video. Right now, learning truth doesn't necessarily mean yet that I know it's truth or that I use it as truth. It's just I have now learned or seen something that it exists as truth, whether I believe it or not. True is true. Like if I don't think 2 + 2 = 4 and I think it equals something else, that's great. There's just objective truth. Whether I agree with it or not, it's going to happen. Gravity is a truth. If you jump off a building, even if you think you're going to fly, probably you're not because it's a truth. It's gravity, right? So I start to learn truth. Now, sometimes that truth flies in the face of what I've been taught or what I believe or what so-and-so in my past, led me up to think was the real thing. What the advisors say, what the banks say, what the brokers say, right? Well, all of this stuff, and I start to see, okay, there's conflicting truth here. There's what I've always been, taught and I've always thought was true versus what I'm now finding out. Okay, now here's the other part is once you learn the truth, you have another option, right? We said when you observe inconsistencies, there's 2 groups. There's people that are going to say, hey, I really want to know why that's there or what's going on. They investigate further. There's people that really don't want to know. Okay, the same thing is going to happen here when you encounter something that's true, right? And it conflicts with what you've always thought. There's going to be 2 people. There's going to be people who are willing to set down their current beliefs and objectively look at which one actually makes the most sense. That's the first group. The second group, there's going to be people who are unwilling to do that. Oh, my mom taught me that, therefore it has to be the truth. I can't not believe it. My financial advisor, who their kids go to the same school as my kids, which is the reason why everything he says is correct, I got to listen to him because of that. I can't set down that, even though this new thing. So this is going to be selects the highest truth. Right? After you select the highest truth, you need to find the source. Who is using this truth successfully? Who came up with this truth? Who are the people who also believe it? I find that source area, and then I study and I get trained. These are the lead-ups to being able to think for myself. Everyone goes through this, right? Now, this isn't where it stops, because once I study and get trained, it then needs to convert into behavior. It needs to convert into me doing things differently in my life because I now operate on a different set of truths. Right? So if I believe a truth but it doesn't show up in my actions, I don't actually believe it, or it isn't actually true. Right? So I want you guys thinking with that as you're watching this video and you're thinking, okay, good, I'm watching these Fetta Facts videos, I'm watching Jerry's channel, maybe I've read the Blueprint to Financial Freedom here, right? Okay, good, so you're starting to get to the source of truths. This Blueprint to Financial Freedom book that I wrote, this was me going through as a financial advisor the exact system that I just mentioned, all of the steps, realizing that the truth about finances came from the top 1% of wealth, going and studying that group, successfully applying them in my life, getting amazing results with my finances and saying, man, more people need to know about this, right? The sacred account, that's something I learned from the top 1% of wealth. The real estate investing that I do, that's something I learned from the top 1% of wealth. The estate plans that I have, the asset protection plans that I have, that's something I learned from the top 1% of wealth. The tax planning, same thing. So the problem here that I want to help you solve today is sometimes because you have social media, you will learn towards the bottom. You'll learn like, okay, this is a new truth about tax planning, or this is a new truth about the sacred account. This is a new thing that I can use, but you've not actually done the work above that. Right? Am I observing inconsistencies? Am I wanting to research further? Am I willing to set down my current belief system for something that might be better, so that once I learn about the sacred account or the tax planning or real estate or whatever it might be, I'm actually willing to pick up a new truth. Once I pick up the new truth, I'm actually willing to go to the source. I'm actually willing to put in the time to study and get trained on it. Right? Because if you skip those steps and you just say, I learned about a thing and it's new and it's exciting and I think that it's better, but I'm not sure, but I'm also not willing to learn about it and I just want someone else to do it all for me, you still can't think for yourself financially, and those new tools aren't going to save you. Okay? No financial tool is going to overcome the fact that an individual cannot think for themselves when it comes to finances. Nothing will help that person other than gaining the ability to think for themselves financially. So guys, I hope this video was helpful for you today. I know this was a little different than my usual Fetta Facts, but this was something that was on my mind and I really wanted to share this with you this afternoon. Thank you for watching. If this video was valuable to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the little notifications bell so you get alerted when I send videos. Comment below with any questions or thoughts. And of course, you are totally welcome to share this with anyone else that you'd like to see this content. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the Blueprint to Financial Freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.